Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of the Game Changers podcast. My name is Quinn Seshis, and it's a privilege and pleasure to be here with you as usual. My guest today is a young man who is really amazing. His name is Kyvon Edwin, and he is a filmmaker. He's an artist who tells stories via the screen, but not just any story, but authentic Caribbean stories. I'll give him a chance to introduce himself to you fully, and I'm sure you will enjoy this episode. Yo, Kivon, what's up, man? Great to finally have you here. You know, just before we started
we
recording,
bless, we
you were
bless,
saying
my
that
brother.
you were a fan of my work, and I have been a fan of your work as well.
Yeah, that's how that's how it is. Because I've been seeing you as a young man, a young creative, putting in the work for years, being consistent, getting your message, and creating incredible platform where creatives, entrepreneurs, everybody who's doing something to change the game has a space to come share their story, and we need these kinds of environments to get the word out to inspire other people. So kudos to you for the work that you've been putting in, and it's an honor to be here.
For sure. All right. So let's get straight into it, man. Tell my audience a little bit about yourself. Just some general information.
Okay. So I'm Kyvon Edwin. I'm a St. Lucian actor, director, producer, and I'm passionate about telling, West Indian stories through the screen, theater, film, on essentially any platform that I get my hands on. Yeah, man.
Beautiful. And I'm guessing a natural follow up will be what sparked your love for storytelling and film in general?
Yeah, that's a. I was trying to think of it before I came on the interview. Like, boy, where did it start? Like, what's the
Mhm.
spark? But I think I can point to my SMC days as like kind of the origin of my story, so to speak. But even before SMC, I was in Helen folk dancers, and I've always been involved in some kind of creative element in my life. So the journey has just always kind of just evolved. But I think SMC is where it kind of started to really get crystallized, and it's like, oh yeah, man, this is my passion, and this is what I want to do with my life. And that really started with the SMC Drama Club. Being a part of that club was the first space where it really kind of clicked in my mind, like, oh yeah, man, I want to be an actor, and I want to pursue that at like the highest level possible. Um, so I think that's where the spark started, and everything has just kind of evolved around that, stemmed from that, and branched off.
Beautiful. Now, you mentioned that you like to tell
Mm,
Caribbean stories. Why? Why does
yeah.
that matter?
I mean, I think it matters. Well, the reason that I personally like to tell it is because it's it's my roots. Like, you know what I mean? It is what I know. It's where I was molded. Like, I'm
Mhm.
based in New York now, and that's where I live. But like everything that I am as an artist stems from having grown up in St. Lucia, stems from all of the experiences that, shaped me into the artist that I am. So it's to me a natural feeling to want to share those stories. And for me, it's all about telling our authentic, raw, real, who we are as a people on a global stage.
For sure. That makes a lot of sense, bro. All right. So I know that you're working on a project now. In fact, that's one of the big reasons that I have you on today.
Yeah.
Um, just tell me about this project, man.
All right, cool. So yes, the project I'm doing now. All right. So the project I'm working on right now is called Bagaila No Porte, which is Creole for the things we carry. And this project is a proof of concept for an episodic project. And it's all about a young cricket athlete's journey to being on the national West Indies team and everything that he's going through in his home life to
Right.
overcome and make it there. Um, and yeah, that's what we're working on right now, and we're currently crowdfunding for it on Kickstarter, and we're raising 16.5K to head out to St. Lucia and film the proof of concept, and from there we want to take that to film festivals and different markets so that we can build the momentum to actually create a pilot episode for the project.
Got you. So take me behind the scenes, man. For those
Okay.
who don't know what it takes to develop something of that level, of that caliber, take me behind the
Yeah.
scenes. Tell me, what does it take? Because I know you started a Kickstarter, but people might not
Yeah.
understand, what it takes to do a film. People might think,
Yeah.
you just take a camera, you record, and that's it. I know maybe some
I
editing, but tell me
I
about that.
wish I wish it was that simple, man. Yeah, this project has been a journey. I have been working on just the script alone for the last 4 years. And so the pilot episode script, I was blessed enough to be a part of a artist community over at the Sundance Collective in 2021, where I was able to first present the project and workshop it with some incredible artists. And I got a lot of great feedback. And from that process, I've been developing, tweaking, working on the project and trying to get it to its best possible quality. And in that time, we've over the last year started working on the short film version of that to have this proof of concept ready to go. And that process has been a year of developing the team, working with creatives back in St. Lucia, working with creatives here in New York, because that's where I'm based, and really putting together what I would call a dream team to bring it into reality. We're blessed enough to work with the likes of Junior Frederick, who's a producer on the ground in St. Lucia. We had the likes of Shirley Williams, who's a producer here in New York as well. So it's been a journey, and the behind the scenes of making something like this, it's just a lot of work to develop it, because for me, I want to create in
Right.
excellence. I want to create something that not only appeals to the local St. Lucian market, but has, huge international global appeal and that people can connect to. And so, to create that, we want to create something of quality. We want to use the best of the best in St. Lucia and from within my network. So that's a little
Right.
bit behind the scenes, and it's just developing a great crew, building out the camera crew, lights, the sound elements, all the production logistics to book locations and get everything in shape. But with a great team, truly anything is possible.
For
So
sure.
we're cooking.
For sure. And then you chose the method of crowdfunding
Hmm.
to raise funds. Why this
Yeah,
method?
yeah.
Many people might not understand why crowdfunding. So tell me.
Hmm. Yeah, so the beautiful thing about crowdfunding is that, like, it allows us to tap into our community
Right.
to bring something to fruition. Because the reality for me is I don't come from a wealthy background, and I have, as is the case for many, like, of creatives working in the indie film industries, like, we don't have the financial resources to pursue our dreams, to bring these things into reality. And so what the crowdfunding allows us to do is to put our vision out there, reach out to our community and say, hey, this is what I would like to create and bring it to the world. Join me on the journey, help me make it happen. And through that, we're able to, get donations from every single person, get $5 here, $10 here, 25, but it all adds up and it helps us to, reach our overall goal. And, the other beautiful thing about the crowdfunding too is, through the process of reaching out to people, putting the vision out there, we also get a really great feedback on what in the story could work, what people resonate with. And so, we're not creating in a vacuum, we're creating in a community, and at the end of the day, I want my work to be authentic and representative of the people, i.e. St. Lucians, that I go and rep everywhere I go. So the process also just helps us be really, really connected to community and create something that we all are passionate about, you know?
Beautiful. Now, I know
Yeah, man.
before this particular project, you worked on something called Letla. What was that?
Yeah. So Letla was my first film. And that was, if you Lucian, then you definitely heard of Letla
Right.
before RCI. And so Letla came to be because, like I said, my passion is telling authentic West Indian stories. And, I really was in a state where I wanted to be more proactive with my career. And like, I'm an actor, and so I go out for different auditions a lot, but it's very rare that you get something that's like a Caribbean
Yeah.
native or first generation or something that's really close to the culture. And so it really was the push of like, I'm not seeing enough of that work. I I want to tell these stories, why I keep waiting for people to give that opportunity, and just being inspired by my mentors and people in my circle to like, let me just go out and create it, and create the things that I want to see in the world and that I believe that we need. And so it just came together naturally. Like the idea for Letla, the idea of, a radio host in this world sharing his story. And we just found ways to just really, really tell something that was true, passionate, and it's been a great journey with Letla.
Beautiful. So, what really is your message? What is really the message that
Mm,
you try to bring across, not just for individual films, but I know different
mm,
directors, different producers have almost that MO, that modus operandi, that they to genuinely try to portray in every film. It's
mm,
almost like a signature.
yeah,
So what would that be
yeah.
for you?
That's a great question. I think it's a multitude of things, but if I had to put it like simply, can't put it into one thing, but it's a lot of
Yeah.
different things. And the first thing that jumps to mind is like the power of
Okay.
community. Um, because even in Letla, it's about this radio host and he's going through something and he's on the air. But even Letla, the show itself, is all about community. It's all about people calling in and us holding each other accountable, whether or not you know the person intimately or
Right.
not. And I think that's just something that's in the ethos of St. Lucia on a whole. It's like, if you go down the road, you know somebody who knows
Hmm.
somebody. Like, we have a very tight knit community, and that's what I come from. And so I think in my work, it it shines through time and time again, the power of community and the power of allowing ourselves to grow. And so in Letla, he relies on his community to overcome, his internal turmoil. In Bagay Newport, which I'm creating now, it's this young man recognizing his aspirations and, creating a brighter future for himself, his community, and his family. And so I think the ethos and the key thing in all of my work so far has just been that, the power of community and aspiring to
Yeah,
greatness, truly.
for sure. And that cricket story is so relatable because I mean,
Hmm.
we have our own examples of that. Johnson Charles, Darren
Yep.
Sammy, and the younger ones coming
Yep.
up. So relatable of a young man coming from poverty, coming from something that is not ideal, and making a name for himself on the international stage. And that
Yeah.
power of community that you referenced a while ago makes a lot of sense because, I mean, it truly takes a village, right? And it's a
Yeah.
collaboration. We might only see one person, but it truly takes
Hmm.
that entire village.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And that's one of the key messages in the film, that we're creating. It's that you're not doing it alone. And even as you go through that journey, you're not doing it for yourself. You know what I mean? I think, and it's something I reference a lot as I'm like pitching the project, is like, yeah, you see Julian Alfred, like you see that story, you see that greatness. It doesn't just happen in a silo. Like there's so much more to her story than just that moment when she crossed the finish line, and so for me, it's kind of like peeling back the layers for the wider world to see, like, nah, this is what St. Lucia is really like. This is what our people are capable of. And this is how we are able to take ourselves from limited situations and create something great,
For sure.
So we dive into all of those themes in the film.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to see it. I know it's still a
Yeah,
concept, but I'm so excited
it's
to
in the
see
works.
it.
It's in the works. Yeah, man.
All right, bro. So we're moving on to a segment which I really like. In
Mm.
fact, it's one of my favorite segments of a Game Changers
Okay.
interview.
Classics, yes. I've seen
So
this.
it's
I've
the
seen
quick
this, yeah, man.
hitters, rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
So we typically tell our guests to answer in 30
Mm.
seconds or less. But if you go longer,
Good.
I won't kill you.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Cool.
All right. So first
Yeah,
quick
man.
hitter question. Who would be your dream collaborator?
Mm. The
I know that's a hard question.
okay, quick. Yeah, I think there's like so many, but the one that jumps to mind, I would say, is Charles D.
Okay.
King, who's the executive producer and founder over at Macro. And the reason I say that is because he's gone on to build a really incredible production company that produces projects that have a wide appeal, global appeal, but the stories are so rooted in, underrepresented communities. And so I would love to work with him. That would be a dream collaboration for mine and for Roots Productions.
Beautiful.
So
Next quick hitter question. As a director,
mm,
producer, and writer and actor, which role challenges you the most and which one feels most natural?
I would say most natural is
Okay.
acting. That's the first love right there. Most challenging is definitely directing.
Got you.
Yeah. Yeah. Or we can expand on that later,
No
but yeah.
problem. Um, Final quick hitter question. Who would you like to see
Mm.
on this podcast?
Who I would like to see, and just 'cause I'm a fan of her work, her message, everything that she does, Fiona
Okay.
Compton. I would really love to see her interview on this
No
program.
problem. So what we usually say
Yeah, man.
is if you give me the contact, I'll make it happen.
Okay. I mean, I don't personally know her like that, but yeah, but if ever, I'll definitely
For sure.
recommend.
For sure. For sure. All right, bro. So we're moving on to the back end of the interview. You kind of touched on
Mm,
that directing tends to be the hardest
mm,
role for you.
yeah.
What does it really take to be a director?
It's interesting because it's definitely a role that it it takes the entirety of, your creative, your just logistical thinking. It's a very holistic kind of impact that you have on each project and your team. And so it's something that it's not easy, you know what I mean? Because you're essentially creating, you're building a team, you're, guiding, and you're bringing all of these different pieces together to create a vision. Um, and so it is a challenge, but I've been blessed to be a part of the Black film space mentorship cohort, where I've been paired with a director who's far, far more experienced than myself, and she's been working alongside me over the last 6 months to, mentor me through the process of directing. And part of undertaking this project too is really to allow me to, spread my wings and grow my skill sets as a director, because it's a journey. You know what I mean? This is my second project, and there's going to be 10 more, and each one you get better, you learn something different. And I'm excited about that journey, and I can, genuinely honor where I am in that process. So I say it's challenging because it still is at the moment, but through time, I know it'll get
For
better, and
sure.
the work hopefully speak for itself.
Well, the thing about challenges is that the challenges you face now will just be different
Yeah.
challenges than the ones you face
Yeah,
when you get bigger, because bigger budgets,
100%.
bigger
Yeah.
sense, bigger challenges in certain instances.
Yeah, it all like feeds into each other, because even in some of those conversations I've been having with her, it's interesting to even for her to like help me through this process, because she's able to relate to things that she went through her journey when she was at this point, and she's able to like pass on those lessons and help me think about things a little bit differently, so I don't make the same mistakes. You know what I mean? And it's already between Letla and this project, I can already see the growth within myself, and how I handle certain situations, how I try to navigate and inspire the team. So it everything, which is what I love about life, not to get too philosophical, but everything feeds, your journey, and it helps you. It helps you to grow. You know what I mean? The challenges, like you just said, they become the wins of
For
tomorrow.
sure.
So I embrace it all, man.
Yeah, and I agree with that so much because it's all connected, bro. Like
Mm?
nothing in life exists in a silo. Everything is connected.
No.
Everything
Yep.
has its links. You just need to understand and discover the links, and then therefore
Mm.
you can discover, how do I go about really
Yeah.
utilizing, what I've learned and really
Yep.
transforming my life in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%, man.
For sure.
100%.
All right, bro. So we're moving on to the back end quickly. What
Okay.
is
All right.
the biggest
Mm.
challenge that West Indian or Caribbean creatives face in today's world,
Mm.
in your opinion?
Mm. Nah, it's definitely. It's sad to say, but like it's definitely resources and the lack of resources, to be specific. Um, because we tend to not have the financial resources, the opportunities, to create at scale.
Mm,
And I think it is a challenge in and of itself to make things happen and to navigate the industry and to be a creative, which is why, like, for me, I had to like move to New York, because that's where I'm able to find opportunities and able to pursue my passions. And unfortunately, we don't necessarily have sustainable avenues to do that in the Caribbean. And part of what I'm endeavoring to do, and part of what I see as my mission, is to help bridge that gap and to help bring those resources and create those opportunities for future generations. Yeah.
all right. So, what advice then do you have for
Mm.
aspiring filmmakers like yourself who really want to
Yeah.
transform their lives, who want to change their game when it comes to filmmaking?
Mm. Well, you know what? And the beautiful thing, and this applies to life on a whole, is that the obstacle is the way. Because the reality of not having access to a lot, not having the resources, those are our realities. But at the same time, that's our opportunity to use what it is that we do have in our environment to create from, to be bold, to be fresh, to be innovative. So my word of advice to, fellow aspiring filmmakers or creatives in a whole, is to do whatever it is that you aspire to do with what you have. You understand? And I think that the more and more that we learn to kind of let go of any expectations to do it differently or do it better, the faster that you will see, your progression, because you have to start where you are to get to where you want to get to. So my advice: embrace what it is that you have, use it and maximize it, and take it as an opportunity to be even greater. So
Beautiful.
yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, bro. So you
Mm.
know, I often think of it as building muscle, like in a gym. And
Mm-hmm.
also, the
Yep.
struggle is the story. Like,
Yeah, man. Yeah,
people
man.
think that,
100%.
the struggle and the story are two different things. But the struggle is the story. And without plot twists,
Yeah.
without, drama,
Mm-hmm.
there is no story.
Yeah. That's a boring movie. If you wake up, you decide to do it, end the story.
Exactly.
Nah, man, you need the trials, you need the tribulations, you need the opportunities for yourself to grow. You know what I mean? Like, I can share with you that even in the journey of creating this project, like getting to this point alone has been a journey. There's nothing easy, but it's
For
worth it.
sure.
You know.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Final question to you, bro. Where can people
Yeah, man.
access your work?
Aha. Well, the, and God is good. So Letla recently got acquired by Aspire
Okay.
TV, and it's now airing on their channels. So to millions of households, it's now open and airing every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. If you don't have Aspire TV, you can always sign up for Aspire TV Plus, and just so you know, you can get a little free trial. You check it. So head on over to Aspire TV Plus, and you can view the my most recent project Letla there.
Beautiful.
And then for my other works and portfolio, you can always check out my website and my social media pages for Roots Productions, which is my production company. You can check us out there.
Yeah. Once you said free, I think something went off in some Lucian's head. We like freeness.
Yeah, man.
so
Yeah, man.
so you can definitely
Yeah, man.
watch the
I have you.
the the, the video for free, all right? The original project. But
Yeah.
please subscribe afterwards,
Yeah, man.
because more is coming.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, I would say, like, um, as we're in the midst of the campaign, a shameless plug is, to head on over to our Kickstarter page. Right now, we have less than a week. By the time this come out, less than a week or so, to reach the finish line. It's an all or nothing campaign. So everything that we've raised so far, we won't get it unless we hit our goal. So every dollar counts, every $2 counts. So head on over there and support us.
Absolutely. Bro, thank you so much for this interview.
Mhm.
I appreciate you coming on. Man, I learned so much in our short conversation, but I hope that I
Good
was
vibes.
a blessing to you as well.
Yeah, man, definitely. Like I said at the beginning, bro, thank you for creating this platform, for being consistent with it and keeping at it. Because I know for you too, ain't nothing
Nothing
easy.
easy.
So I applaud you for creating this and for continuing to do it. It's important. I feel blessed and inspired here to just sit down and get to just talk about my journey and share the stories. And even I was listening to some of the interviews and before this, like Kidel and all them, and it's like, yeah, this is beautiful what you've created,
Absolutely.
man.
I appreciate that, man. All right, guys. So this has been yet another Game Changers podcast. If you're new to the channel, I would ask you to like and subscribe, right? And follow us on audio streaming platforms. Game Changers is available wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, regardless of where you get your podcasts, Game Changers is available. Anyhow, this has been yet another amazing episode. And to thank you for coming on and listening. And as always, stay hungry. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.